A long time ago, something like 10 years ago, me and my friends would often go to the Banshee Women's House, a piece of folklore from my hometown. The story is she used to kidnap kids from the local day school and bring them back to her house and do Blair Witch-type stuff to them and eventually kill them. In classic fashion, she was burned alive inside the house by the townspeople. I can't speak on the validity of this story, it's just rumor story surrounding my hometown. Anyways, we would occasionally go there just for something to do. Wasn't much to do in our hometown, so we would go there for a cheap thrill. Me and about 4 other people went, and we were destined to find the remains or the property of where her house was. We walked on a dirt trail for about 10 minutes but found nothing. 2 of the people we were with started getting scared, so we decided to turn back. Me and my one friend were in the back of the line and kept trying to scare everyone we were with by making noises and imitating the voice of a woman. They got mad at us and told us to be quiet as we walked back as they were quiet scared. We stopped making noises, then both of us heard the voice of a woman say something behind us, but we were at the back of the line we were in. Me and my friend simultaneously turned our heads when we heard it. Nervously, we started laughing, not believing what we heard. When we told everyone what we heard, we all started running back to our car. Till this day, I can't explain it. There was nobody behind us to me. I don't know if it was paranormal, but I can't explain it, so take that how you will.
Approx 2010, I was living in a residence single room in great neighborhood, 11th floor. One evening after work, I entered my 14 by 12 room and saw 3 footprints. From the same size shoe, the size smaller than my shoe, the first a few steps from the door, the second print on top of my sandal carelessly stepped on, the third just before the bed. The ridged prints on the light tiled floor were as if stepped in dried mud. I took a picture and showed main office. No one had been in my room, which was locked. I'm still baffled, but was not creeped at the time. Unfortunately, I lost this photo with a few years' worth of photos when my hard drive failed.
Stayed overnight at an Airbnb with my husband. It was basically a small apartment within the host's home, in which their parents had lived, who presumably passed away. We passed out after coming home after dinner and drinks. I woke up and got up around 3 a.m. to take off my makeup and brush my teeth, laid back down and closed my eyes, and suddenly felt something or someone touch my left shoulder. I thought it was my husband, but when I opened my eyes and looked to his side of the bed, I cannot shake the thought that it was one of the apartment's previous inhabitants who touched me from the afterlife.
When I was a kid, maybe 8-10 years old, I woke up in the middle of the night, looked straight ahead towards the doorway of my bedroom, which was open, and saw what looked like my brother float right up to the doorway. But he was see-through and floating. I looked at him, said, "Jay," his name, "what are you doing? Get out." He looked at me, smiled, and floated out down the hall. I talked to him, even thought knew it couldn't really be him. I wasn't scared so much as baffled. I still think about it to this day. And yes, he was alive at the time and still is.
So I don't really get the creeps or believe into the paranormal too much. When I was 17, my best friend at the time convinced me to drive to the abandoned haunted house in our town. I was like, sure, whatever. So we go over there late at night. It's basically a mansion, it's so big. And it's a bit of a foggy night. It looks creepy and we are in the yard debating if we should go in. I personally wasn't worried about it being haunted. I was more worried about trespassing and getting caught. Plus there was a party to get to with potentially girls, so I convinced him to go. I turn around and there in the dark, less than a foot from my face, was the head of a horse. Motionless, just there. I freeze up, wrapping my head around what is in front of me and extremely close to me. I start to notice it is in fact a whole horse, not just a head, and it's just standing there. I back up slowly and it doesn't move much. I look at my friend and he is just as shocked as I am. How could a massive horse get as close to a foot away from me without making a sound and I not notice? We slowly make our way to the car, keeping an eye on this massive black horse that simply doesn't move beyond a little bit, tail and head. We get in and drive away. I have no idea what the horse represented. And like I said, I don't know what I fully believe in, so it was certainly an experience.
When I was around 14 years old, I lived in a house that had a very strange feeling, and some weird things happened, only to me. I was the only boy in a family with 3 sisters, so I had the worst room, a very small one, far from the rest of the house and next to the kitchen, the typical little room near the washing machine. The scary stuff began one night while I was peacefully studying in my room. The house was silent because it was late. Suddenly, I started hearing a baby crying in the kitchen. There was no baby in our house. I went to check, but of course there was nothing. Back in my room, I sat on my bed, getting ready to sleep, when I suddenly heard everything in the kitchen crashing to the ground in a loud, chaotic noise. I ran to the kitchen, scared, but again nothing had moved. That was my cue to go to bed and hide under the sheets like they were a shield. Just as I was finally starting to fall asleep, I felt something jump onto my bed. The mattress bounced as if someone had landed on it. When I looked, I saw an indentation on the mattress, as if someone were sitting there. And then it vanished, leaving the mattress shaking like whatever it was had just jumped off again.